Ty was the fourth, so he was Trey's twin brother. Yeah, so he's a little brother, born 5 minutes after Trey. Alan is 46. I'm gonna be 45 here in November. Trey's gonna be 44, 3 days after me. My mom and I, we have the same birthday, so we have all these birthdays right there. So my mom had 4 kids within 2 years, all boys. I mean, we were all close, obviously. We grew up biracial in an area where there weren't very many people of color. So we had to stick close together. My dad's black, my mom's Italian. And being so close, we were each other's best friends, you know, living in the country. We were always outside doing stuff. So, you know, we were close. Ty and Trey were, I don't even know what to say, hellions, I guess. You know, they like to kick up a lot of trouble. You know, just the nature of being twins, I think, and their personalities really strong.
We were so much alike, but different in a lot of ways. Where we differed was Ty was so carefree, where people might look at me and think I'm carefree, but Ty was really like, he didn't worry at all. I don't know what it was about him, but he didn't worry about things.
He wasn't handcuffed by what a lot of societal expectations were of people. If he wanted to do what he would do, what he wanted to do, and he did it. And it was always something I admired about him, because I was always handcuffed by what society expected of me. And he was not like that. He just took the reins of life and, hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and I'm just like, wow.
You know, Ty and Trey in my mind are, you know, this, because they were just always one thing. But Ty was the kind of person that would, if he was your friend, he was your friend. He didn't care about who you were, what your social status was. You know, they were just hard cases, but Ty would always bring them home like, you know, lost dogs, and he would always, you know, just be their friend.
I said, he's Peter Pan. You guys are all the Lost Boys, and I am Wendy, and we are in Never Never Land, because all the boys that came home with the kids really didn't have mothers. I wanted always to be that house where the kids were, so I knew the kids, and they were there. And I remember waking up one morning and walking into the living room, and there were kids sleeping all over the place, and I'm going, you know, this is when they're teenagers. I said, who are these people?
Ty was the kind of friend that if you were in his life, you were there for the duration. You were there. A lot of his Army buddies, they still call me to this day, and in tears, they're like, you know, I really miss Ty. With us being twins, you know, I like to think that when his friends and people that love them talk to me, they feel like they're getting a piece of him.
Trey, then me, then Ty. Ty was in for 9 years, I was in for 3. Trey did 20 and retired. And Ty was in Afghanistan and Iraq. I think he did 4 tours total, 3 in Afghanistan, 1 in Iraq.
Army guys, we live fast and die young, they say, you know. And when we live, we live. It's almost like Ty knew, you know, that his life would be short, you know. And so he got as much out of it as he possibly could.
End of 2014, I remember it was Christmas. Trey was home. And I was in Arizona at the time. We lived there for 6 years, my wife and my family, and I called them on FaceTime, you know, just Christmas morning. Hey, how's Ty? You know, everybody, blah, where's Ty? And I just thought he was out with, I don't know, friends from the night before. Women, usually, that would be Ty. And they were, you know, eventually I got them to say, you know, and I was upset because I was like, man, I can't believe he's not there on Christmas. And they were like, we think he has cancer, he's in the hospital. And, you know, it just, my jaw dropped, and I was like, no.
It was probably 3 o'clock in the morning, and he was like, hey, my back is really hurting, so let's go to the hospital. He said, take me to the emergency room. So I took him, and we were sitting there, and it was probably 6 o'clock in the morning by this time, and I'm dozing off, and he was like, hey, just, me not thinking, it's not nothing, kidney stones, whatever. So he was like, just go home. He said, I'm probably going to be a while. So I went home, and he called probably like 2 hours later, and he was talking to my mother on the phone. I could tell on her, the look on her face, and I could kind of hear what he was saying. I heard him say cancer, and she was like, she was just crushed. And I said, don't worry about it, Ma. He's gonna be all right. So, and you know what? In the grand scheme of things, he was all right.
When Ty was first diagnosed, he said, Mom, I'm not afraid to die. I've been in the war. And you lose that fear. I'm not afraid to die. I just don't want to be an invalid in bed. And so he lived like that for over 2 years.
And he was stage 4 at that point because it was in his kidney, moved to his liver. And this, goes back to when he was in the Army. He worked in the, he did lots of things, but one of the things he did do was work at the burn pits. And these burn pits are these massive pits where they just dump everything. They will burn anything, human waste, planes, tanks, anything. They dump them in these and they burn it with diesel fuel. So now you have all these soldiers coming back with all these ailments, a lot of them related to liver and kidney because those are what process the toxins in your body.
It was never treated properly in the military. So, I have some misgivings about that, but, that to me is almost like a perfect example. Like late in life type shift. He said, I need to do this, and he does it. And, I think it was a good thing for him. Unfortunately, it ended up really coming back in the end to really, give him a scar, which was unfortunately what was his, what killed him.
He did immunotherapy. He couldn't do radiation and chemo because his particular kind of cancer, which was papillary renal cell carcinoma, wouldn't respond to chemo and radiation. And even if they radiated his liver, there was so much cancer it would have just torn it up. We explored a lot of different avenues, but at the end of the day, just, it helped keep him going, but it would be one thing, then that would stop working, there'd be another thing. That's when he started turning to cannabis to help him. It helped him eat, it helped him sleep, it helped with pain management. Ty also suffered from PTSD. He saw a lot of things over there. I remember one time we were going down the highway and this guy cut him off. We had my son and his son in the car, and Ty just, snapped automatically, which was, it's a sign of PTSD. I'd never seen him like that before. After he started using cannabis, it helped all of that stuff.
In those 2 years, party was over. No more drinking, and but the cannabis helped him. We traveled. He came over to visit me in Europe twice. It might have been 3 times.
They traveled so much. Ty loved to travel. That's one of the things that he did. And I think I sent you a picture of him and Trey on top of this sign in Amsterdam. We have this map that we brought to his funeral. Said, "Where in the world is Ty?" They had all these little push pins on there, and there were so many places that Ty had been. He did so much traveling in the last 2 years of his life, more traveling than most of us will do in our lifetime.
Mario showed you the map, and there were 2 different colored pins on there. The one pin, and I can't even remember which one was which, was all the places he had been before he got sick, before his diagnosis. And then the second color were all the pins of the places that he had been to after his diagnosis. And I think Ty and I took 2 trips to Europe after his diagnosis, 1 around the United States. That one December we all went to Mexico together.
It was extremely difficult. You don't want to see anybody ever, whittle away like that in front of your eyes. Tai was kind of an asshole too, but, it was like brotherly asshole, like we just all knew was part of his personality. But at the end of the day, like I said, he'd do anything. If you were in with him, he'd do anything for you.
The whole 2 years when he knew, he would say, well, people always say, why me, why me? And his attitude was, well, why not me? And it was probably just like the last 2 or 3 days he was kind of bedridden, and he was like, man, when those people come down here, tell them not to be crying. He said, I don't want them crying. People would come in and I would tell them, hey, hold those tears back when you go talk to them. I was sitting next to him, and I put my head on the bed, obviously in tears. This was the night before he passed, and he didn't say a word. He just put his head on the back, or his hand on the back of my head, and like, everything's gonna be all right.
It hasn't been something where we won't function or can't function. We've used his memory to kind of do what we're doing now, but to kind of go on with our lives and be, appreciative of the day-to-day of life.
Of course he was important, and nobody wants to lose that, and and especially Trey, he lost a part of himself.
At one point I was kind of babying him. We were coming home from Mexico, and he looked at me and with tears in his eyes, he said, Mom, you have to let me live my life. Quit. I'm a man. He says, I have to enjoy the rest of my life. And when I talked to his doctors and the nurses, and all they ever said was all Tai worried about was his brother Trey and me. And he said, Mom, when I die, I don't want to have a sad funeral. We party. I want to have a party.
It was everybody that was there when Tai died, and it was a full house, and everybody was happy, and we were laughing and we were crying, not necessarily mourning, but we were celebrating the fact that, he was finally out of pain. He didn't let the fact that he was sick keep him down. That's what he did. He lived life, man, and he loved to live life. My mom has always been an extremely strong woman, and throughout my life, whenever a death would come up in the family, she would show us how to deal with it in a practical manner. After Tai died, so this would have been late 2017, I think around November maybe, we met with a friend of ours, and Trey wanted to start just like a 72 plant grow. That's what they allowed at the time for caregivers. Just because he saw what it did, for Tai, and he wanted to help other people. I don't think we would have pursued this if we didn't see what it had done for Tai. So that's how that started, and then one thing, led to another, and here we are. The Hempire Collective, so we're family-owned, we're veteran-owned, we're black-owned. We're trying to help people manage conditions. So we try to grow high-quality cannabis and provide that to the community and beyond in the form of edibles, in the form of flower, all different kinds of things, tinctures. Our goal is to just help. That's what we want to do. We were raised that way, to help people. When, like I said, Tai would literally give the shirt off his back to help somebody.
Even in those times where he had the absolute right to be upset and sad about his situation, he was still worried about other people. And that's just kind of how he was.
Just love. He was a loving guy, man. He was really a loving guy. He just wanted to help people, but he's with us every day.